This is Light on Violence, a special Gleaner Forum on crime. Watch the live stream at facebook.com/GleanerJamaica and at jamaica-gleaner.com. You may also join in the discussion on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter using the hashtag #LightOnViolence.
Thank you so very much for staying with us. This is Light on Violence, a special Gleaner Forum on crime. We're coming to you from the parish of Hanover, one that has seen a 100% increase in murders since the start of the year. We will take in this segment some questions from the members of the audience as well as from you who are watching on JNN as well as Facebook.
Yes, well, just clarifying. As a member of the board, I tell you that we are aware of the presence, but I speak only of the presence because we have sought means and ways to quell whatever uprising there may be. For example, we do not necessarily expel students, but what we do is we recommend that main persons are transferred to a different school, taking out some main people, and in doing so, it has proven effective. Because I can proudly say, since the start of January until now, we RCs have only recorded one fight, and it was not gang-related. And there is no record of any conflict anymore between gangs. So I only speak of the presence, though it does not necessarily, you know.
So we don't have a gang problem.
Major gang problem.
And that's commendable. I like that. That's commendable, yes.
So, RCs, we do what we can to ensure that our students and teachers are safe, even from crime and violence.
Well, last year, the National Security Minister, Robert Montague, took to the Parliament to announce a raft of measures aimed at restoring calm in the adjoining parish of St. James. Let's listen. The National Security Minister took to the Parliament on September 28, announcing new measures for St. James. A joint police military operating center in Montego Bay, increased numbers of police and military personnel in the region, increased intelligence assets in the area of operation, and the serving of all warrants and summonses in the police stations within 2 weeks. Curfews have been imposed. Cordon and searches have been implemented. At the same time, the St. James Police Division is to be split in two. The anti-lottery scamming task force has been revived, and a telephone number set up for citizens to call in confidence to share what they know. Promoters of events with more than 1,000 patrons must have in place CCTV and metal detectors. 40 trained dogs are coming from Cuba to help in gun and drug detection, and 200 more JCF graduates are to be stationed in St. James by the end of December. Among those measures that the National Security Minister had announced was a split in the St. James Police Division. Superintendent, where are we with that?
That's still in the negotiation
embryonic stages.
Yes, I understand that negotiations. And again, that's policy.
Except, though, that the matter was seen as urgent with what was happening in St. James. That was September last year. We're almost at September this year.
Yes. Well, from my knowledge, I know that that a location was identified. Negotiation had started with an individual who at one stage left the country. So, from what I know, it's work in progress. So, again, it's in the policy remit.
Coming to you, Sergeant Watson. But what else from that list has been ticked off?
One of them that I can speak of is the joint task force, which the minister spoke about. In fact, I am the commander at the joint task force there. So we're operating out of the office of the Prime Minister, where we, along with the military, has been in operations since the start of April. A bit low-key, but we have been doing a lot of work. We have been into a number of communities, a number of operations. Sergeant Watson here has been a member of the team. So that's one of the things that would have been ticked off. I didn't hear the list, though.
Another of the requirements was that CCTVs are to be installed and metal detectors should also be a part of the security feature at entertainment events. Have those been happening?
To my knowledge, I can't speak on that. From what I can tell, though, is that...
In fact, he said that any event with over 1,000 patrons should have CCTV installed at those events, and also too that metal detectors were to be mandatory.
Well, any event that you want to keep, you will have to ask the divisional commander for permission. And in so doing, the permission will have a number of requirements. So those things will be put to the promoter.
But what I want to get at, Superintendent Ricketts, have there been instances where promoters come to you for an application or apply to you for a permit, and you say to them, no, you're not going to get this permit because you have not shown me where you have CCTV, you have not shown me where you have metal detectors?
Personally, for me, that would happen where I sit. But I did a stint in Westmoreland where there was a major event that was in progress, well, being planned, and a number of these requirements would have been put to the promoter in order for the person to get the permit. So yes.
Sergeant Watson, you seem to have wanted to make an intervention.
No, the superintendent made the point with the joint task force, which is a newly formed task force. We are not fully activated, but we have been facilitating operations targeting top-tier gang members and wanted persons, and we have been successful so far. But you will hear more of the joint task force in the weeks to come. Yes.
Sure, thank you. We have another student at the microphone. State your name and go right ahead, sir.
Dante Seabright, Student Council Vice President of the Russies High School. Just to add to how crime and violence affects sports in the high school, we can see where when a good coach wants his team to do well, we will expect long training hours. And students, we have seen where students believe that when they train so long, they will be afraid to go home in certain times because they expect crime and violence in these days. Now, what we know that the schools are doing is that to avoid the students going home, they will keep instead camps, that they will stay at the school and they will be under supervision. And another point I would like to make is that crime and violence is shown in games itself. For example, the Augusta Cup, if one of the players realizes that persons are there from their community, if the referee should blow or something like that, they will just show some form of bad behavior just because they know that persons are there from their community, and that is something I believe that can be worked on on this sport.
Thank you very much, Mr. Siebert. Here is a comment coming in from Facebook from Janice Samuels. Essentially, she's asking whether you have enough vehicles.
Of course not. We'd always want to get more resources. Vehicles would be one of the critical piece of resource that would help us. So we do not have enough at this moment.
You do not have enough?
No.
Did you get any of the used cars?
Yes, we have pre-owned vehicles that were, some that have been sent to Era 1, St. James in particular.
What's your take on used cars for the police?
I don't think there is anything wrong with utilizing used cars. I know the kind of hours that a vehicle, a particular police vehicle, is utilized, sometimes 24 hours. But I suspect the more cars we get, it would be more, we'll be able to put cars for servicing easier. So what we really want is mobility. And we're not going to be nitpicking about whether or not it's a new vehicle or a used vehicle.
Not getting caught with the politics. Okay, sir. No problem. Go right ahead. We have another person at the microphone. Just state your name and go right ahead.
My name is Vernon Chin, and I have a supermarket at what we refer to as Keeping. Madam Horton and the rest of the head table, welcome to Hanover and thanks for what you're doing. My experience, I am a Jamaican Chinese, to begin with, to let it be known, right? My experience since I've been down here in the beginning was very, very encouraging. What has happened since last year is not encouraging at all. My sons were kidnapped, and thanks to one of my workers, Mr. Brown, who was alert enough to have alerted the police, who immediately was able to act and save them from death. They were banded up, mouths taped, a gun to his head, and the police arrived immediately. We have turned to a lot of the young people in the area, which one would refer to Keeplef, as in the area I was born and grew up in, as the outdoor ghetto of the immediate center of Lucy. I personally have tried and have spoken to many young people there, right, to educate them, to see how much influence I can have on them. Unfortunately, I'm not here very often, and I have a lot of things in Montego Bay doing also, so I can't spend the time I would like. I'd like to let the police know there is a young boy there. His mother doesn't want him. Eventually, the mother took him, and he's now back in Lucy. He has no education. He can't go to school. I was asked to adopt him. I said, no, I can't. I'm a single man, and it is not allowed. It's not that I can't do it, it's what the law says. Madam Horton says that we Chinese are making our money and we seem to be quite comfortable in not helping the society. May I correct her, please? The new Chinese that comes to Jamaica are strangers. I would like to tell you, I have just come back from China, and me I never open so from me barn. If you think, and I thought, that these people are something out of outer space, the buildings that they live in is burglar barred from ground to heaven.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Chin. We must get Ms. Hawthorne to respond, and then we want to throw a question.
No, just one more thing.
I'll give you 30 seconds.
Yes. There are a lot of crime happening in that area and must be looked at.
That's
just over the weekend, 3 murders.
Thank you. So, Ms. Hawthorne, let me respond. Is it a case where the issue of the lack of support from some of the members of the business community is widespread?
It's always a problem when one makes a sweeping statement and forgetting, yes, that there can be Chinese who were born in Jamaica. I had not met that gentleman before, but he's a real Jamaican. And there are some others in Lucy as well who were born in Jamaica and have lived in Jamaica all their lives. I do not believe that those persons, I know one is a justice of the peace, does a lot of work, very hard work in Lucy. I'm speaking of the new ones that came in, really, who are not involved in anything social in the town.
Thank you so very much. DSPB put...
So I apologize to you sincerely.
DSPB put, the matter of squatting has been raised. Is that a real problem in Hanover, and is it impacting crime and your attempt to fight crime here?
Not that I'm aware of. Some squatting is here, but I don't think it is so much of a problem.
Let me throw the same question to Superintendent Rick. It's across Area 1, which comprises Hanover, Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney. How much of a problem is squatting in your crime fighting?
There is a problem in high crime areas like St. James. We have a number of inner city or squatting communities think one last count was somewhere in the region of over 20 in St. James. In Trelawney, there are areas where people tend to gravitate towards where the development is taking place. I'm from Rareville. So in Trelawney, there are areas that is problematic because of that. Also in Westmoreland, in the Grill, where we have a number of the offenses, we have squatting communities in those areas.
What do you do about these issues that you come up on?
These social issues?
What do you do about them? Yes.
No, we are police officers first and foremost, so we actually try and as best as possible uphold the law. But when you look at a community that is not structured for policing, you know, for instance, like a Canterbury in St. James, you can't drive into the community there. We're talking about footpaths, so it is extremely difficult for the police to operate. So as much as possible, we highlight these concerns to the policymakers. And sometimes we see them coming in. For instance, despite having the incident in Bartown this morning, we have seen some moves to address like certain areas in Bartown. I was just in Vietnam, Bartown, a couple of weeks ago. And I'm seeing where they're tearing down the zinc fences and putting in decent fencing, and they're trying to put roads in the space. That helps police to respond to calls for help.
All right. We have another person who is at the microphone, but just before we take him, we want to get an update, DSP Bput, on that horrid find yesterday involving who's suspected to be a mother and her child.
That wasn't yesterday.
Yes, in Westmoreland.
That's
Sorry,
Westmoreland.
maybe you, Mr. Ricketts, who's in charge
I'm not
of the
fully
region.
updated on that yet, but that was in Westmoreland.
Okay. Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Desmond Wilson, I'm a returning resident, somebody who spent all his working life in England, in one of the major cities, which experienced a lot of crime over the years between the 70s and the 90s. I must say that, well, and I must take this opportunity to welcome the media to Hanover. It's a pity that, well, then it takes crime for the media to highlight what is actually happening in Hanover. Notice that, well, then there are other opportunities to highlight a lot of things outside crime which has not been noticed.
I can give you 30 seconds to highlight some of those good things.
I must say that, well, then, during my period in the UK, I served on various committees, including Police Liaison Advisory Committee. And I must say that, well, then, as the commander has mentioned, crime cannot be addressed by the police alone. You need other agencies on board in order to address crime. My question is for task force gentlemen. We're not concerned about Mr. Big within the crime structure. The police was only interested in Mr. Big within the crime structure. And the man in the street who were actively involved in carrying out those crimes, they said they used them to get to Mr. Big. Task force man made reference to the men in their big house, fast car, etc., etc. Can I ask of him if the police is only concentrating on the Mr. Big within the operation?
All right, thank you so very much. Let's have the response from you, Sergeant Watson. He's asking, are you only targeting the kingpins?
We target the foot soldiers, mostly, or the low-hanging fruits, you would call them. And most of the results coming from those operations is that we are now able to pinpoint the kingpins, and the foot soldiers sometimes will lead us right to the kingpin. So we have investigated right across the board. As a matter of fact, majority of our operations targeted the, foot soldiers.
All right, we're almost entirely out of time, so let me just use the last 4 minutes we have to get your final words and to get you, Mr. Ricketts, to respond to the question as to, are your offenders now persons who would have been convicted before?
Recidivism.
Yes.
Okay. Do not have the figures now, but that is something that we're extremely concerned about. A number of persons who are currently on bail are known to be involved in crime still. So that's an issue that's affecting us right across the country. So yes.
And particularly in this police area?
In Area 1, and particularly St. James, we're seeing that a number of persons who are on bail are still committing offenses.
And how about those who would have been convicted and have now been released? Are they also a part of your headache?
The stats, I don't have the stats here, no, but I would say that based on intel, yes, persons who would have gone through the prison system, convicted and are now back out. And you can see where a number, even those who have become the victims of crimes and murders, some of them just came out of prison. So it's a revolving door in a sense.
All right, your final words, DSP Biput, what should we expect for Hanover for the remainder of the year?
For Hanover, we are expecting a reduction in crime. That's what we are working towards. And the intention of the division remains the same, to dismantle and disrupt all the gangs that are operating within our space, and to build that sort of partnership with our stakeholders to reduce the fear of crime.
Ms. Hawthorne, what's the commitment from the business community?
Well, I think I would go with exactly what Ms. Biput says, that we need to have a reduction in what's going on at the moment, and we need all the stakeholders to take part, especially Social Development Commission, who is out there in the communities. And if everyone with a good heart help, then we should reduce crime in Hanover.
Sergeant Watson, what's your prospect?
Well, I just want to say that crime fighting is not for the police alone, and we can't overemphasize that. This country belongs to all of us, and we need everybody on board. I must point out something though. One of the things that I really dislike is to see influential persons express that, listen, if you take away lottery scamming, then what you leave the youths them to do?
All right.
We want to get rid of that mentality, because what we are doing is cementing in the minds of these persons that there's no alternative, and there are alternatives. We have to be more positive. We have to speak more positivity in our youths.
We're entirely out of time. I must stop you there, but want to say thank you so very much to you who have been so patient on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We did have some technical difficulties beginning, but let me say thanks also to those who are here in the audience, and to Superintendent Kirk Ricketts, the Police Area 1, as well as DSP Sharon Biput, Divisional Commander for Hanover, Courtney Hudson, the Vice Chairman of the Hanover Parish Development Committee, Sergeant Kevin Watson, and Neris Hawthorne, businesswoman and philanthropist. This has been Light on Violence, another in our series of special Gleaner Forum on Crime. I'm Damian Mitchell. Thanks for watching.
This is Crime Stop. How may I help?
You know them bury some illegal gun, but me not want them know say I'm me talk.
Don't worry, sir. Crime Stop is privately funded and run by the PSOJ. Everything reported here is anonymous. It's just like you're invisible.
What about the reward?
We provide cash rewards for information that leads to an arrest or recovery. We'll stash the cash wherever you like, so nobody will ever find out.
Alright, me tell you.
Be an invisible hero. Make the call. Crime Stop 311. Solving crime pays.
Wherever in the world we are, Jamaica is with us. In our hearts, in the way we talk, in the way we walk. In the Gleaner, access Jamaican news anytime, anywhere on your smartphone, tablet or computer. Stay on top of what I want by reading today. Stay informed with your #1 Jamaican news source, The Gleaner. Become a digital subscriber today at www.jamaica-gleaner.com. Anytime, anywhere.
Action. Free up your life, free up your life. Get flow alive. Rhythm don't stop, we a vibe it up. Music nice for me, I fi turn it up. Get these a data free. These a data free. But boy, that's not all. $2.99 per minute for your call. In a house, in a car, anywhere you there at all. Free up your life, free up your life. Get flow alive. Free up your life, free up your life. Get flow alive.
We had the perfect love story, but everything changed. We start getting angry for the simplest things. I knew it wasn't healthy, but I loved him. It's only when I ended up in the hospital I realized that I had to make a choice. Him or me. I chose me. I called the police and they helped me.
If you're a victim of domestic abuse, get help. Call your nearest police station. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
It all starts with a choice, a reaction. Maybe it was something small that blew up. But don't you see? There's power in you. Power to control the things you do. You have the power to create a better tomorrow. But it starts with the choices you make today. What will you choose? Walk away. It's not worth it. Make the right choices today. Let's create a safer Jamaica.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
I swore I'd never hit a woman. That's my father's thing, and I wasn't going to be anything like him. But then I'd get so angry. I never ever meant to hurt her.
I never knew how to stand up for myself or deal with his anger, so we got trapped in the cycle. So I spoke with a counselor, and he stepped in, and he helped us both to work on our personal issues. And now, we're working to repair our relationship.
If you're a victim of domestic abuse, get help. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Action. Free up your life, free up your life. Get flow alive. Your links one shot, get free talk data on your WhatsApp. Vibes up me one shot. Free up your life, get flow alive from your app that lock. No need for hotspot, boy. That's not all. $2.99 per minute for your call. In a house, in a car, anywhere you there at all. Free up your life, free up your life. Get flow alive. Free up your life, free up your life. Get flow alive.
I had no clue I was being abusive. That the things I would say hurt him so much. I wasn't hitting him or anything, but my words were just as hurtful.
It got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore. I was fed up and I came this close to lashing out at her. I decided then it had to stop.
We've been seeing a professional counselor for almost 6 months now, and our relationship has been much better.
If you're a victim of domestic abuse, you too can get help. A message from the Ministry of National Security.